More than 5 years after the arrest and heart attack of George Floyd, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is still fighting for a fair trial. An exclusive update on the status of his case and a look at those helping behind the scenes next. My guest is Greg Joseph, the attorney representing former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Greg, thank you for being here. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Liz.
I think many people aren't aware that for more than 5 years now, your client, Derek Chauvin, has been fighting for a fair trial. With the 5-year anniversary, if you will, of the George Floyd riots, there was all this talk about a presidential pardon not that long ago for Derek. So a pardon is one thing. You've been focused on the fact that your client never had a fair and impartial trial in the first place. Let's start there. What can you tell us about that and the current status of Derek's case?
So first of all, I'd welcome any conversation that any federal official wanted to have about this case, and I'd be happy to paint a clear picture of exactly what happened here. But procedurally, kind of where the case is, Derek was sentenced to a slightly more time to serve on his federal case than on the state conviction. So for that reason, he's in federal custody right now. So what we really have to address, though, is the underlying state sentence first, and that's because we've got a statute of limitations that's coming up here. We have to bring this petition within that statute of 2 years. So think of this as Derek's last line of defense. His trial is obviously finished. His direct appeal is finished. And so they call it post-conviction relief in Minnesota. What it is basically is a chance to litigate anything that may have been missed at either his trial level or on his appeal. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your perspective, there were quite a few things that were missed. So this is really an opportunity for us to paint a picture not only of what happened, but also how it happened and why it happened. And this is a chance for us to make things right.
Almost 2 years ago, just days after the release of the Fall of Minneapolis documentary, Derek was stabbed 22 times in a prison law library. Still so many questions about how that was allowed to happen at all, and how former FBI informant John Turskak, who has been charged with attempted murder for trying to kill Derek, seems nowhere to be found, according to federal prison records. But Derek has been through so much these past 5 years. I know recently his family was able to visit him again in federal prison. What are his current conditions like? How is he doing?
I think you could say he's doing as well as he could be under the circumstances. The first thing people have to understand is that Derek is tough. Derek is a fighter. And he knows something was wrong here, and something is wrong here. Going through this case with him over the past few months, he's really gotten a clearer picture of what was done. And it's unjust. It was unjust then, and it's unjust today that he's sitting in prison as we speak. Derek's not guilty. He knows that. I know that. But more importantly, we have fair trials in this country. We don't have trials for the sake of having trials. We have fair trials. And if you don't get a fair trial, that's a problem. So that's what we're here to fix.
This jury has, despite all best efforts, has been bombarded with information relevant to this case. It is impossible to stay away from it unless you literally shut off your phone, or you shut off your TV, you shut off your computer. And no such instructions have been given during the course of this trial.
Well, to be fair, the last few times I've advised them, I told them don't watch the news. Pure and simple.
Derek, I'll say, is very grateful for the prayers and for the support that he's gotten. I met with him a little earlier this year, and we speak fairly regularly by phone. And as he's become more familiar with, I think, the body of this case, and what happened, it's painted a pretty clear picture for him too. So how's he doing? He's doing well. He's tough. He's hanging in there, and he's ready for the fight, and it will be.
As you know, myself and Alpha News, that we've faced our share of the lies and injustices in this case. Just months ago, we fought back. We won a defamation lawsuit filed by Minneapolis Assistant Police Chief Katie Blackwell against us for our book, They're Lying, and then the documentary, The Fall of Minneapolis. But in responding to that lawsuit, Greg, more than 14 Minneapolis police officers came forward. They said that Blackwell committed perjury on the witness stand during Derek's trial, and that the maximal restraint technique was part of police training. So after winning the case, many people continue to ask us if the testimony of these 14 officers who said Blackwell committed perjury will somehow help Derek's case in any way.
Well, the first thing to bear in mind, okay, is that Katie Blackwell wasn't the only person who offered that particular testimony. Now, perjury in a criminal sense isn't implicated here. However, in this particular sense, in post-conviction relief, when false testimony is offered at trial, it can absolutely have a bearing on our case, and it will. I'll be able to share more in the upcoming petition. People will get a clearer picture of what happened, but suffice it to say that, false testimony is frowned upon. There are specific things we have to kind of march through in terms of legal proof, but I feel very confident we'll be able to present a very, very clear picture for the court of what happened.
I want to mention that Greg Joseph and I will be speaking at an upcoming Tea Party meeting that's on November 6th at Greenhaven Golf Course in Anoka. We will be sharing some more details soon. But Greg Joseph, thank you for taking on what can be an incredibly challenging case. Thank you for joining me, and we'll be staying tuned, that's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for the time. Thanks for having me.
That will do it for this episode of Liz Collin Reports. We will see you next time.